Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Law and Order. I'm your host, Pia Moore, and today we're going to talk about the hate crimes against the Asian community. So, if you guys don't know, we are in a pandemic, and because the coronavirus originated in China, I believe there is a lot of backlash against many Asian Americans, and there have been a lot of hate crimes that have been occurring lately since December of 2019, I believe. And let me know your guys' thoughts.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. First of all, the harmfulness seemed like small and meaningless because we started with things like calling it the Chinese virus, the Kung flu, all that kind of stuff. I knew people who would make jokes like, "Oh, I don't want to eat at Chinese food restaurants anymore. Oh, I might get coronavirus," things like that. But it quickly escalated to actual physical assaults and on groups and communities. I remember a few months ago, there was this lady who coughed on an Asian baby in a restaurant because, I don't know, something was going on in her mind. And very, very recently in the Asian communities in San Francisco and Oakland, there have been a huge spike in physical assaults against elderly Asian communities, specifically in regions where there is a high Asian population. So, and we can't say that this has been going on for a while or whatever, because it's something that we've all definitely noticed spike during the last year or so. So, and it's very, very frustrating because, a lot of my friends, a lot of my close family members happen to be Asian or of Asian descent. So seeing things like this is very, very saddening.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's just heartbreaking to see how people act because a pandemic happened and it originated overseas. One thing I'll never understand, like what you said, is how people can be so harmful against the elderly. It wasn't their fault. Come on, bro. You did not need to beat them. You didn't need to hit that lady. You didn't need to beat that man. You didn't need to do any of that. You were supposed to be staying 6 feet apart, first of all.
Racism against Asian people is so normalized nowadays. Even if it's just a subtle thing, it's really sad how these things could happen and escalate to Asian people, and it would just go unnoticed. And we need to wake up. America, wake up. This is your wake up call, because there has been so many hate crimes against these people. For what? For being Asian? Literally, an 84-year-old Thai man, he was pushed, he was shoved, and he had to be hospitalized, but he died a couple days later. And a Filipino man, his face was slashed open from cheek to cheek, and he has this huge scar. And a family went to Sam's Club and 2 children got stabbed. They were 2 and 6 years old. So even as young as those people, they're being targeted because of a virus that has been going on. But Donald Trump didn't even de-escalate the situation. He was encouraging all those other people to call it the Chinese virus, the Kung flu. So he normalized it and made it feel like it's okay to say all those things about Asian people.
It's not okay at all, for you to go up and stab a child, a little child. I can understand it from a parent's perspective. You can go after a parent. But when it comes to a child, you just don't do that. I'm not saying you should. That's just from a parent's perspective. You can come to a parent and say, "I'm gonna hurt you." They're gonna be like, "Okay, I'm gonna take it, so my kids don't have to take it." But for many years, as long as I know, many people have been scared of people who are from Asian descent. If your religion too, if you're a Muslim or stuff. I learned over the years, because I started learning about the culture, about the different things, how beautiful the culture is, in a sense, but people make it so dishonesting, discriminate people. And I don't know if you guys heard this about a Sacramento teacher literally pulling her eyes back and literally being so racist, so hurtful towards the Asian community.
One argument that I've definitely heard on social media a lot that I both agree with and disagree with is the whole like, oh, a lot of us we watch anime, we read manga, we listen to K-pop, we enjoy Chinese food, all this kind of stuff. Like, so we should definitely be talking about this issue. And I'm like, yeah, those people should definitely be talking about this issue. So should the people who don't consume that media or that food, because this is not just a race problem, it's a morality problem. Sure, it is targeted towards one race, but it's if you are literally harming and killing people because of a prejudice that you have in your mind, it's no longer just like, oh, if you do this, you should do this. No, it's if you have a heart, you should do something about it. Like, people are losing family members over these assaults. They're losing capabilities over these assaults. Like, people are getting blinded and all that kind of stuff because of these assaults. It should be like a group community effort as a community of good people to do something about all the stuff that's happening.
Yeah, and another thing is, many people go get their nails done, go get their hair done. How many percentage of Asian people work in that field? Many. But you can go sit there, get your nice manicure, nice pedicure, nice haircut, nice dye, but you can't speak about the problem. You can't speak about people getting beat to death. You can't speak about people getting stabbed. You can't talk about people getting discrimination because of their race, because where they came from. You can't speak about that. But you can go sit there, get a nice pedi, nice manicure. That doesn't affect you at all. But that affects the family, right? That's going to affect not only just the family in the country they came from. But like, that's just like, I get what you're saying, Felix.
Yeah. America could say whatever they want about the people, and if they care about the people, but their words, they contradict their actions, because you could support it all you want or not support it, but if you're not going to fight for the change that you claim you want, then you're part of the problem, because this community is desperate for help, but they're not getting the public's attention. I don't know why, because it is not really being covered by the media, but it pisses me off by how uneducated and how blind these people could be when they're targeting these people. But even with what Nevaeh said, when they get their nails done, or if they get their feet done, whatever, I don't know, I don't do that stuff, but if they do that, some people would even make fun of the people who's doing their nails. They would make fun of their accents, or when they're speaking their own language, they would also make fun of that because of their language barrier, and they think that they're making fun of them, but they're just having a regular conversation. They're just talking about their day or whatever. And it sucks, because the language barrier could separate many groups of communities and stuff like that, you know?
One thing about the language barrier is always bothers me is like, people will complain about someone speaking a different language, you know, with a person who speaks that language. It's literally the same as like you using slang with your friends and then you talking proper at home. It's literally the same thing. It's not different at all. So why are you so pressed about two people speaking in a language that they're comfortable in, whether it be Vietnamese, whether it be Chinese, whether it be Japanese, whether it be Korean? Why are you so pressed about it? Is it because you can't understand it, so you don't know what they're talking about? Is that why? That shouldn't matter, because you don't know that language for a reason, whether it be because you didn't grow up in that culture, you never wanted to learn it, etc., etc. So it's just very frustrating. People are like, oh, well, they shouldn't be talking like that in front of me. Yes, they can. It's their workplace that they all share a culture within. You shouldn't have to have a say in that.
And one thing about, like, going back to it, a Navy veteran was killed by police brutality because of a mental health crisis. A person who literally served your country was treated so badly because of the mental health crisis. And if you don't think that's bad, you don't think that, you think, oh, well, he wasn't cooperating. How are you supposed to cooperate in a mental health crisis? Like, you're not gonna feel all right. You're not gonna be all right. But like, one thing I get, like, a veteran, a Navy veteran, someone who literally protected your country, who went out and did things for your country. Don't they get the respect? Where's the justice for that?
One thing that made me really sad about that story too, or really angry, whichever, it just made me feel conflicted, was that happened in Antioch, right? Antioch is just over the bridge. I used to go there every weekend for church. That's a place that, like, I know it's not the best place, but I knew that as a nice little community. Thinking about how someone who was so important to the, you know, to sacrifice his life for his country, even if he didn't die, getting killed by the police of a city that I, you know, frequently visited, it's disheartening. It's like going to school and then the teachers telling you that they hate you despite you, you know, believing that they cared for you all this time. It feels like I've been betrayed.
And that's the end of our topic today. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to comment about what you think. And don't forget to follow at Project Fatu and at Close Strike to see more of our lovely faces. And if you have a voice, use it, because it's really important that you use it. Because it's not going to just take our group. It's going to take you. We're going to need that support. We're going to need all those things. We're going to need those shares to share the awareness that we need. If you agree with us, don't forget to show it. Bye, guys. Thank you.